Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about an aspect of the game that I believe will improve your game as a new agent or returning agent. And it is quite complex, but I'll try my best to keep it short because at the end of the day, learning and implementation is still your responsibility. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is the best skill attachment to use because everyone plays differently and everyone has their own preferences. So in the Division 2, we have a robust amount of skills in the game. If you haven't seen my video on how skills work or how I've explained skills and how you can pretty much learn them very quickly using the UI here, please make sure that you watch that video. Probably leave you guys here with a link so you can check out that video if you've not seen it. Also, if you appreciate the content, make sure you leave a comment to that effect, or at least, I don't like talking about the like button. I mean, I think that's something that you should feel and do. But you can subscribe to the Gaming Daddy channel, whatever. This is getting the video. All right, skills. Very good in the Division 2. In fact, too good that it's making some, veteran Division 1 agents a little jealous. And the reason I say that is because in Division 1, skills allowed for you to be able to do, the job effectively in some sense. But in a Division 2, you do have a very effective arsenal of these things. Now, for those of you who have not played a shooter like this is not your ordinary shooter. And I get it. Some people will argue that the skills in this game are probably too potent and they believe that you need your gunplay as a center and primary aspect of the game. Well, I disagree. Why? Because it's a Division. This is the one game that pretty much bends the rules in a weird sense, sometimes bends it too much. And so I think that's what makes it its most unique selling point. Now, you may disagree with me, but it is what it is. Now, if you look at these skills, there's something really interesting about them. One, they are quite unique, each and every one of them. Two, they're in categories that have different variants. And three, they can be modded for the different variants to improve what it is that they already do. So you can actually make these bad boys quite stronger. You can make them stronger by speccing into skill tier where you don more items that have their core skill attributes. If you notice this item here, my chem launchers all are going to have my skill tiers because I'm running a build that has 6 items that have one skill tier for their core attributes. So there, it means that my chem launcher is able to perform at pretty much the highest possible skill tier on the base level. Have you ever heard that before? Highest possible skill tier on the base level. Why? Because there's overcharge. If you notice on the bottom, there's overcharge, which is pretty much the 7th skill tier that you achieve under specific circumstances and specific situations. But that's a whole different video. I think I've made a video like that. So you can just search on my channel for overcharge, and I've done some explanation on that topic. Now, how can you make these bad boys stronger other than just doning skill tier items? You use the skill attachments. Here on your skill attachment list, you're going to find a skill attachment for every single every single skill that you have. And in looking at the different ones, you really have to pay very close attention to understand exactly what each one is going to bring to the table. Now, this particular skill here is my shock trap. And one thing about the shock trap is time. How long can the shock trap stay up and continue to shock and, pretty much stun enemies? You pretty much are going to have these skill attachments for it that do allow for you to have extra duration. I think 7% might be the max duration for these. So one of the interesting things is getting max rolled mods are very challenging to get, but they're not impossible. But you're going to eventually start getting them, or people will drop them for you. I have a few for some of my other skills, and it's quite nice to actually have those. And so all you got to do is you go to that skill. Let's say I want to use a shock trap. I go to the shock trap and I hit the mod button, and now I can add that 4.5 duration to it. In many cases, they'll come with multiple slots. So, you can add more to it as well. So in this case, I'm going to go with 6.6 duration. And for some strange reason, if you notice, the different slots take specific kinds of attachments. Now, even though both of them give you the duration buff, they are still of different nature. In the case of this is this particular slot here is a charge slot, whereas this one here is is an electronic slot. Now, why the developers chose to do this, I have no clue. In my opinion, this is not a streamlined design decision, but something just to keep people grinding till their eyes fall off. So imagine going into the battlefield looking for a charge slot that is max rolled. Good luck in the division. And so this is another aspect that really puts your build at, say, like a 2 or 1.2% disadvantage. And this is where the gear game and the grind game comes into place, because for you to achieve that max build on all fronts, it's just a matter of putting in time and a little bit of, I would say, RNG luck or whatever it is. Now, if you were to come to the Hive and say you want to use the Hive and you want to also buff the Hive, it also has different slots as well. Now, again, like I showed you on that particular skill variant, which was the shock trap, you have 2 slots for it. In the case of the Hive, depending on the variation you're using here, this is the Stinger Hive. This is the Booster Hive. You also have multiple slots: system slot, drone slot, also a launcher slot. And then they have different skill attachments that they're able to take. So this is something you want to pay attention to. Okay, this is 4.6% duration. What this is going to do is this is pretty much going to keep the Hive running for a little bit longer, just a tad, like you notice, it's an extra 8.3 seconds. That's a big deal. 8 seconds is all you need for you to be able to stun an entire flood of enemies running at you, and your teammates can burst them down. This has radar signal and antennas. I think this is for a different variant. In the case of this here, because this says a Reviver Armor Repair. So if I'm using the Reviver mod, then this actually works for me. Is this a booster? Why did I think this was a Reviver Hive? Sorry, this is a Booster Hive. So I'll have to find a mod that actually works for the Booster Hive. And that will probably be in the case of, say, charges, stim charges in that case, or something of that nature. It is so complex that you have to really come out here and do some reading and do some experimentation to be able to find out what's going to help, your skills actually work better. Now, if you notice, I don't really use this Airburst Seeker Mine. Some people use it. This actually is a drive slot where you can actually add some kind of a mini electric motor slot that gives you more radius for its area of effect. This one will give you 1 extra cluster mine if you were using, say, cluster mines. In the case of the Airburst mine, it's only 1 seeker mine. So it doesn't even really help you in this situation. And this slot is a payload slot, and all the mods that I have are healing mods. And so unless you're using the seeker mine that actually requires, that's used for the Mender seeker mine, then that mod slot doesn't really count in your case. So the thing about these skill attachments is you really have to come in here and take a look at them. You have to go back to your skills, look at what your build is trying to achieve, and then work through all of the cluster and try to eventually figure out what it is that you need, and then start slotting them in and improving your build and testing at the base of operations. The beauty about skills is you can test almost all of them here in the shooting range. You can put them on the dummies and see how much damage is being done. You can see how effective they are. You could change the difficulty. And these are things that are definitely going to help you to get a better understanding of them. I hope I've been able to do I would say, some sort of introductory video on this that is comprehensible to anybody. And if not, please leave comments in the comment section, or leave, I would say, ideas on how to improve a video like this, because this is a very complex topic. And I'd never really thought I was going to be making a video like this, because this is something that we've learned over the course of the years. But for new players and for veterans, it might be a little challenging to pick up. Talk to you guys in another video. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Peace out.